Okay, I wanted to share the latest news with what's going on at Oak Flat. This was a press release from the Center for Biological Diversity on July 8th, so just a little over a month ago. I'm a little late getting this out, but from what I see, I don't think anything new has taken place since this press release. If I'm wrong, then my apologies. But here's what it says. Congress must pass Save Oak Flat Act to protect sacred land in Arizona from massive copper mine. More than 100 conservation, indigenous, and religious groups urged Congress today, July 8th, to pass the Save Oak Flat Act to protect the sacred site in central Arizona from being destroyed by a massive copper mine. The House bill, introduced by Representative Raul Grijalva, I always forget how to say his name, would overturn approval of a land exchange to trade away Oak Flat, known to the Apache as the Chichilbagotil, to a mining company. For centuries, this Apache sacred site on the Tonto National Forest east of Phoenix has played a role in Apache culture as a place to harvest medicinal plants and acorns and to hold coming-of-age ceremonies. A sacred area such as Oak Flat should never be traded away to an international mining company for profit, the letter says. It was an egregious error for Congress to authorize this land exchange in the first place. The land exchange failed 5 times as a standalone bill in Congress. In 2014, the trade was authorized by a last-minute amendment on an unrelated must-pass defense spending bill. The rider required the land exchange to be completed no more than 60 days after publication of a final environmental analysis, no matter what its conclusions or how much damage the project would do. This bill was correct This bill will correct a reckless, callous mistake and ensure Oak Flat is safeguarded for future generations, end quote, said Randy Spivak. Forgive me if I say his name wrong. The Public Lands Program Director at the Center for Biological Diversity. Quote, we can't allow the mining industry to continue destroying the sacred sites, plundering irreplaceable natural and cultural resources, and sucking up precious water supplies. Congress needs to pass this bill and protect Oak Flat, end quote. The Save Oak Flat Act would overturn the 2014 legislation repealing authorization for the land swap to multinational mining giant Rio Tinto for the massive Resolution copper mine. The bill has passed the House Natural Resources Committee and awaits a full House vote. In the final days of the Trump administration, the U.S. Forest Service issued a rushed, flawed environmental analysis setting the 60-day clock ticking to complete the land exchange. In March, the Biden administration withdrew the environmental analysis to take a closer look at the devastating damage the proposed copper mine would do to Oak Flat. Quote, it's a fundamental abdication of the U.S. government's trust, responsibility to Native American tribes to trade away this sacred land, and it's illegal to do so without proper review and consideration of the vast devastation that would result, end quote, Spivak said. He also says, passing the Save Oak Flat Act and repealing this backroom deal is how to right this wrong, end quote. Oak Flat was protected from mining by President Eisenhower in 1955 because of its outstanding cultural and ecological values, a mining ban that Rio Tinto seeks to evade by obtaining private ownership of the land. The site holds the best set of Apache cultural resources in existence and has for centuries provided Native people with food, medicine, habitation, and a sacred place for religious ceremonies that are still conducted there today. It's a stunningly beautiful area of dramatic rock formations, high desert biodiversity, and popular recreational opportunities, including world-class rock climbing. Oak Flat is listed on the National Register of Historic Places in recognition of its irreplaceable cultural and historic religious importance for the Western Apache and other tribes. It's part of the ancestral homelands of the Apache, Yavapai, Hopi, Zuni, and other tribes in the Southwest. Rio Tinto's Resolution copper mine would create a crater more than a mile wide and 1,000 feet deep. The $1.4 billion tons of toxic waste the mine would produce would be dumped on thousands of acres of nearby wildlands, turning a vibrant landscape into an industrial wasteland and threatening to contaminate groundwater and surface water in the area. The mine would use a vast amount of groundwater annually, equal to the amount used by the entire city of Tempe. More than 70 Native American tribes and tribal associations support protecting Oak Flat, including the National Congress of American Indians, representing nearly all federally recognized tribes in the United States, and the Intertribal Association of Arizona. And that's the end of their article. It's basically just talking about how this act is going to be voted on by Congress, and we need to be reaching out there to our local congressmen and getting them on board with this. So, this is again written by the Center for Biological Diversity. So these are their opinions, but I can say for myself here at Keep Arizona Wild that a lot of this really resonates with me, and this is exactly how I see this, what happened here with Oak Flat. No matter what you think of Center for Biological Diversity and their political leanings or whatever, that's, everyone can have their opinion on that, but I think the opinions they're sharing here of what's going on at Oak Flat and just how the mining industry works with our government in obtaining land at all costs. This is very eye-opening stuff, and I hope for those who have been to Oak Flat that they can share this video around, get people aware of what's going on, let our congressman know that this is important to us. Thank you.